Church Nerds Podcast. I am Jay Baldwin, and once again, I got the fellow church nerds on with us. We got Norman Heath, headed to 14 years. We got Brandon Travis riding the way for 12. Pastor B, 9 years of married. Brother Darrell Wall, 6 months and counting. And I don't know how long they've been married. I'm sure they'll say. But we got special guests on tonight.
Yeah,
all the way from Chicago, Illinois. None other than Elder Tony and Sister Chanda Catchings. God bless you all for being on with us. Listen, we wanted to do an episode on marriage because all of us are our church nerds. We're young, we're married, so we just wanted to have a couple people that's more seasoned in this marriage game than us. You know what I'm saying? To tell I'm just gonna let y'all know we are not responsible for what come out Brian's mouth. This
hey, that's exactly what I told Darrell. I said lack of sleep, and y'all did not prepare me, so I'm not responsible for what comes out my mouth.
I love it. Let's get it.
Hey, we are excited for you guys on to be here. Once you in the comments, listen, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you can't watch us, remember you can listen to us. We are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Google Podcasts, and we are on Spotify Podcasts. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us in the car. All right. We are leading up to our national convention that is going to be where? In the city of Chicago. We are excited. We're just having guests on, just pop in here and there. So we're excited. But this is a marriage episode tonight, y'all. We all have that. We're gonna ask some controversial. Why did I get married?
I needed some money, so I got married because I was broke. My wife was money. It helped my life out a lot.
Shannon is gonna strangle you.
Hey, Norm, I'm with you, man. I needed somebody to pick up my socks, so
I'll be like Bishop Singles and say, I need somebody to help me cross the street.
Need somebody.
Next episode, we will be memorializing a couple of our church nerds because they might be missing. So.
I don't got nothing to say. I'm missing.
Oh, this was the end of the church nerds. We ended at episode 13.
Right, there you go.
But Elder Catchings and Sister Catchings, man, we want to ask y'all a few questions, man. Everybody that's on this podcast or anybody that joins this podcast, they got to go through the nerd challenge. You know what I'm saying? We got to find out, just how church nerdy are you? What are you into? Marvel, DC. As you see, your fellow brother and brother Travis, he is a big Batman fan. But what are y'all into? What did you watch growing up? Comic books? Let us know. Elder Catchings, you can go. Let us know.
So I used to watch the old Batman. Old.
But Adam West?
Yes, Adam West.
Oh, man.
Batman, and the phony with the pow and kick, pause, and then the sign go up and say kick, stuff like that. That's what we used to watch.
That's antique.
That is antique. That's straight comic book. You talking about, you used to run around like Robin G. Willikers, Batman. The Riddler has flooded the city. That's what's up. Did you were you still into it after you got
Nope.
got older, going through college and stuff like that, or no?
Yes, next man.
No,
Right.
Not even the Michael Keaton Batman. That's Brandon's favorite Batman. So
That's not my favorite Batman.
No, I saw that version. Y'all ganged up on Brandon for that. That's
Appreciate that.
He'll be
He's
all
got
right.
back with tonight, everybody.
All right, these Philistines.
How about you? How about you, Sister Catchings? Anything you grew up on, nerd wise? It don't have to be comic books. It could be books, or anything else like that. What were you into growing up?
Well, I really wasn't into cartoons growing up, but I was into Channel 9, WGN, used to have their morning movies, and they would have, the ladies dressed up like princesses and with their ballroom dresses on, and that was fascinating to me. So even as a kid, I used to like to look at that.
Oh, okay. So
Nice.
you got a favorite Disney princess that has like the big ballroom gown that you love?
Not really, but I like Pocahontas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually everyone doesn't say Pocahontas like that.
No,
Okay, that's
that's
real
unique.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's real unique. But listen, we are excited. We're glad that you guys let us know, what you guys into growing up. But we got to ask some questions for y'all about this marriage thing. That all of us are in. But the first question I'm going to ask, and the other church nerds, they can ask their question. But the first one I want to know, how did y'all meet? Sister Chanda, did you ignore Catchings? Did you got game? What? Well, yeah, we got to know.
So
was this before or after the curl?
This is after the curl.
Post the girl, okay?
Hold on. Hold on. And I can get on my hair.
Hey, he still remember how to whip it. He still remember.
So it was before the curl, but he had plenty of hair.
Wait, we giving the PG version?
Really.
Oh, this virgin.
Right.
This is the Church Nerds podcast.
Right.
Speak freely. Speak your mind.
Right.
You gotta drink on that one.
I told you I'm not responsible.
Hey, you good. Speak on mine. Whatever. Go ahead.
So we met at church through a mutual friend. So I was away at Purdue University, and I had come home from break for the summer. So we met. I think it was at a May council, and one of my friends introduced me to him, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't think he was attractive, and I wasn't interested. And that wasn't the reason she introduced me, but she was just introducing me as this new brother that had just newly. Well, he wasn't new, but he had just received the Holy Ghost at the time. But Tony had
6
been.
months.
Yeah, 6 months. Tony had been around. He's actually a pew baby, but I didn't know Tony growing up. Our mutual friends knew each other, but I didn't know Tony. So I was introduced to him by a mutual friend, and so we went on from there. And then Victory, so that's where I grew up. So we were at a church convention at Victory, and he saw me. You want to take it from there?
Speaking.
So when was at the council, right? Yeah. So at the council, the person that introduced us, I was like, man, she don't got no good looking friends. And then because she had I think she had her hair up and
Yeah, I did. I had my hair up. It wasn't down.
yeah, so when I saw her at church, I was sitting next to my cousin, Marvin. I was sitting next to him, and she walked around for offering. Well, she had, her hair was like all the way down. Well, back then they didn't have all this other stuff. She had real hair. So it was all the way down to her back, and she walked around like who is that?
My Lord.
My cousin, she was like,
Yep, Jesus.
he said, man, she this. She in school for pharmacy, and I was like, man, all right. Well, so I went and talked to her afterwards, and
You shot your shot.
I'm about to say, what was the line? What was the line?
You
shot your shot.
So actually, there was no pickup line.
Whoa.
Tony actually.
no pickup line.
So this is what happened.
What you need?
So I was coming down the stairs, and he was coming up the stairs, and this look he gave me was like he was wanting to eat me up.
I did.
Oh,
And
that's fair.
So I ran up the stairs. I said, I'm going to stay in this sanctuary.
You scared her to marry?
The way he looked at me, but that's to be comical, but the way he looked and locked the eyes with me, I'm like, oh, here we go. you know. So I went upstairs. I said, I'm gonna stay in the sanctuary, you know, till all the people clear out. Thought he was gone.
Uh-huh. No, he was waiting. I'm on my way.
Right. So I went downstairs and he was still there. And he started talking to me, and he was talking to me as if he didn't know me. And I said, I'm looking at him. He had, as we talked, he asked for my number, and I said, I told him no. But he said, I said, do you remember me?
Hold on. So when she told me no, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, nobody tell me no. All these women around here like this. I was for real. Y'all laughing, but my mind was going. I was like,
the catcher was smooth back in
I
the day.
I love it.
That man said he got the eye trick. He be like,
And so I said, I looked at him because he's talking to me like he's meeting me for the first time. And I said, you don't remember me? We met, you know, in May. And he did not remember. So we went on. So some weeks went on. So I would leave my car at the church, and my friend and I would go out for to have dinner, and we would come back. And there would be some flowers on my car. And I'm like, who's leaving these flowers on my car?
Oh.
And so I didn't know it was Tony leaving these flowers on my car. So every Sunday, there was some flowers on my car. And she said, girl, that's Tony. I said, oh, okay. So we went on. And then at the national was in Illinois. And so we were at the convention, and all of my girls, we had went down to the convention. We were at the hotel. And so we were marching around. I was in the mass choir. So I'm marching around. Tony's back was to me. And so I asked my friend, I'm like, who is that over there?
Wait, hold on. We got to rewind.
uh-oh.
Notice what
I knew
she
there was going to be a
said.
rewind somewhere.
Notice what she said. My back was towards her.
He knew who he was.
And she said, who is that? I noticed she didn't see my face. He saw my back.
He saw your glory.
This is a great story. I love this story.
I'm just saying. Y'all gotta watch these Toy Girls. I'm telling you, y'all watch these. No, I'm just-
So anyway, so about the time she's telling me, she said that when she's saying that's Tony, he's turning around looking at me, and I'm looking at him. So I turn real quick, like, oh, I didn't know that was him. So at that point,
Wait, hold on. So while I was doing the sound with Randolph and Strong, so me and Randolph was talking at the time, and Strong, we were all talking, and I was like, Strong, that's her. And
so after that, I was starting to fall for him at that point. I was starting to like him. I thought he was really handsome. And so
that back, wasn't it?
Got a strong back.
Got to turn around, so the back. I got you.
So I told her there. I said, "You want to go out to eat?" She was like, I said, "No, you going out to eat."
There you go. There you go.
he did.
Gotta put that foot down sometime. Like, hey, let's go.
Time to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's what happened.
So
That's
started
That's
dating.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's a great story. I think learning different couples, like how they met stories, is like
The origin story.
like the origin stories are always good.
Yeah.
You know, those are
Y'all
always
put
good.
y'all origin stories in the chat.
Yeah, put them in the chat. You know, how did you meet your spouse, man?
Oh, yeah, I want to see him. I want to see some of these stories.
Yeah. Origin stories.
Those are always inspirational, kind of, you know, how they met, you know, and also learning, you know, how different men, you know, how they spit game at their wife. You know, so that comes to my next question.
Flowers on the card, boy. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Hey.
That's real good.
How many days or how many weeks? Let's count that money, man.
This was good. I know. Y'all out there, y'all single? Get them flowers on that card.
Get them flowers on that card.
Well, wait a minute. Now we in a different age now, you know.
Right. Yeah.
The flowers ain't gonna work.
I don't know if
It'll be like caught the police on you to like, hey, who's this around my car?
Stalker alert.
So hold on. How many years is it now?
It'll be 30 this year.
Wow, that's amazing. Truly
That's
amazing.
awesome. So that comes to one of my next questions. How did he propose, Sister Catchings? Was it smooth? Was it with flowers like you did with the, like? I know he had to up his game up. From the, how he proposed?
Was it better than the poem?
No, it wasn't. We didn't.
Was it better than a poem?
Oh my goodness!
Wait, you said better than a what?
No, I'm sorry. I was taking a dig at Pastor B doing a poem, so I wanted to see if Elder Catchings could step that up a little bit higher than just a poem.
Oh my God!
You know, back then I don't know if we did all that. You know, y'all spend money. We didn't have that type of money to spend. You all laugh, but I was only making $235 every 2 weeks. And of course, I had a building too, but that was all I was making at the time, and I was in school. So you all wouldn't even consider marriage at that.
If I came to my father-in-law and said I got $200 every 2 weeks, he would keep pushing, brother.
Yeah, go on, get out. Not my daughter.
Right.
My daughter. Matter of fact, Norm, you wouldn't even have to go to the father-in-law. The new age women today, they would be like, "You making how much?"
Right.
You know, but you know, you guys, you know, back in the day, is that so? Well, Sister Catch, you can answer. Is that like a big important thing? You know, for a man to like, you know, get down on that one knee to show that he really truly loves you, or you know, is there different ways, you know, that he could, you know, some men can propose or not?
I think for women that is a thing, because we're looking for our prince and that knight in shining armor. So that is that's what we look for. So that's a big thing for us, to just make even if they don't go all out for it, that it is something that's sentimental, that is thought about, you know, it's intentional. So even for us back then, again, we didn't. I don't remember us doing a lot of what they do now. We didn't see a lot of money spent on engagements and, you know, things of that sort. But I think it is important, even if it's done privately, that there's thought put into it. So, because it's a lasting thing, you never forget that day.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask because I was watching on scrolling through Facebook a few years ago, and there's this big confrontation on Facebook about how men should not propose to their fiance or girlfriend in public. Like it should be private. Like you shouldn't do it at church, or you shouldn't do it in a public space. Like it's supposed to be this intimate, private moment. What do you all think about that? Does it matter? What do you think?
I think you should know the person. What maybe they like it. They could be a private person and they want it done privately. And you know, this day and age, some people, they don't mind the you know, the social media page. They don't mind it being displayed. But I think you should know your mate. You should know the person that you're proposing to see, you know, what they like and what they don't like.
Yeah, I probably would have asked a couple questions, like hypothetically speaking, if I would have asked you to marry me, what would I would probably do that first before I did that publicly. But some of these proposals, I really like them. You know, the ones now, they're very well thought out. Wasn't the proposal, the private proposal with "Would you marry me?" things like that, but now it's very creative. I like it.
Now, one thing interesting I saw was really interesting was it was the other way around, where the woman proposed to the man.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And it was in public. And the dude I mean, unfortunately, I guess he got kind of embarrassed. He was like, "No, I can't do it." Now, I mean, I guess I know we're at a different age now. I mean, is that acceptable to have the female propose to the male? Is that?
Look at Chanda Catchings' face. That tells you.
I mean, I was like, "Oh, this is new. I didn't know."
Yeah, it's enough for me.
So no for me.
Me and Amber were joking like when we were dating and stuff. We saw like that video just like that with the men. I'm like, if you ever got down on one knee and asked me, I'm like, look, that's just over. I couldn't even like keep it going. Like
conversation ended. Have a
right?
good life.
Yeah, that's like this. Clearly, we're on different pages here.
Can y'all answer to that? Like, why is that? Why is that becoming a thing? Like, is that because of the equality thing, or this and that? Like, why do y'all think that a lot of women say I can propose to my man this? Can y'all answer to that?
I think it's a total distortion of God's plan.
Mm.
He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Talk, Chanda Catchings.
Put her in E flat. E flat.
So I think it just distorts the whole plan. You start going into that feminist thing. I can do the same thing a man can do, and then you pulling yourself out of your place, out of your role. It doesn't mean that we're not strong. It doesn't mean that we're weak. It does not mean that. But God has a role for all of us, and I think is for me. And then just going back to again, if I do it, talk about it personally. To me, that's important for my prince to come in and find me and take me, to his castle, not me. And that just distorts to me the whole scheme of things.
Now that's anti our social movement today. That screams to, I think Jay kind of alluded to it. Just this whole women equality thing. And that there are no gender roles or norms, and that everybody just do what they want to do, and a lot of times that's what we're up against in the present generation. Is that if you say some of the things we saying, like Mark Zuckerberg might be kicking us off next week, but like we say these kind of things in the public, and people will rally against you. They rally against what's wrong and what's right. Excuse me,
right.
And support what's wrong.
Yeah, I think Chanda Catchings, you made a good point. It's all against how God intended it in the first place. Jesus is coming back for his bride, not the bride going. You know what I'm saying? He said, "I go to prepare a place for you." And it's the same concept in the natural. The man is supposed to be. I know, but the man is going to prepare the place for the wife. So he can bring her home. Like you said, he wants your knight in shining armor to sweep you off your feet and take you to his castle. And now it's different. Now, not saying that, I'm sure there were women knights back in the day, but now is, now you got the woman knight or whatever sweeping the male damsel in distress now to sweep him off his feet.
I'm going to scream.
Just saying.
The male damsel in distress. Respectfully, y'all in the comments. We respect you if you're a male damsel in distress. But no.
Just saying. But that's the hard truth, though.
But you know what, Jay? If you really looked at the Jewish background when the man proposed to the wife, the engagement part, he said exactly what Jesus said. He says, "Wait here. I'm going to prepare a place for you."
Right.
And so that's where they got it from. So
exactly.
So that's very important.
Brothers, go prepare a place for her.
Go prepare.
Cool.
I'm sure all the sisters that's in the comments, they saying like, yes, go prepare about
So the flip side of that is, will you wait?
Well, the flip side of that too is, will you be happy with the place that's prepared?
Well, yeah, because some brothers don't got a castle. Some people got like a hovel. And they can prepare. I prepared the shed for you.
I prepared this hut for you.
A shed?
Shut up, Norm.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious because I mean, even back
You're right.
14 years ago when I first started, I didn't have then what I have now.
Right?
But thankfully and prayerfully, my wife at the time, she took pity on me. She knew what my potential, where I was going to go. Right, because our first spot wasn't all that great. It was a 8-foot high rise where the heat didn't work half the time. But I prepared the place the best I could, and we stood together. So that's a factor too.
And look where he brought you from.
Hey ha, Shabbat! I felt Jesus all up in me. It was right there in that microphone. I felt it.
Norm, you hit it right on the nose because my father, one of the best things he told me, when I got engaged, he said, "Me and your mother didn't just have this when we first started out." He said when they first got married, they didn't have furniture in their place. They had the milk crates, and saints would just come over. They'll have a good time, but they made it home. You know what I'm saying? So once you and your spouse, y'all have the understanding like this is our home. You may not have everything that you want now, but as long as you make it yours and not have outside opinions about anything, about this and that, what y'all should have, what y'all need,
and you know what, Jay? That's what makes my wife the ride or die. Because she was there when I was making $200 and some dollars every 2 weeks, and she stayed there.
Yes.
And now she doesn't have to work.
I thought you would have shot it right there.
I mean, it's just that, and it's no goodness of mine. Because I'm gonna tell you,
right.
I believe in tithe parent and giving my offering. I'm a giver. I'm definitely a giver. My wife and I. The one thing I told the Lord, I said, Lord, she's been with you all this time. I said, bless me so that I can take care of her.
That's good.
And when I tell you the Lord has blessed us, I'm like the visionary, because I was taking her 25 years ago around houses that we have now. And I said, one day I'm going to get you one of those. She didn't believe it because we was like $20,000-$30,000 in debt.
Talk about it.
Not counting student loans.
So, no, that was just credit cards.
That's what I said.
My Lord.
So, we would go to car dealerships. I said, I'm gonna get you one of those, and she really didn't believe it because she couldn't see past those bills we had.
She's like, look, I know what this account say. All right.
But the Lord, when I tell you the Lord has elevated, and I mean, when I say gave me favor with men that just took me up under their wings, white, Middle Eastern, African American men that took me up under their wings. The Lord just gave me favor, and we just continue to grow. Now I'm gonna tell you, my wife's a pharmacist, so taking her off her job, God had to bless.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's good, and that's something that I tell my wife all the time. I know we in a year and a half, and I'm still, we still starting out, but I tell her all the time. I said, I want land. I want to get you some land because I see the value in having it, and I see the hard work that my dad did to keep the house and the land that he had got from my mom. So I wanted to do the same thing. I tell her all the time. I said, we're gonna have a yard so I can cut the grass, make it look good for you, all that. So so Levi or how many kids wherever we have can play around. I want to buy you a house. That's why I tell her all that, and I tell her too. I said, babe, I want to make sure I make enough money so you don't have to work. Right now, she has to try to work here and there to help out, but I tell her all the time. I say, I'm looking for God to bless so that you won't have to work at all and not have to worry whether we're gonna get this bill paid. or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's definitely a blessing, and I love hearing that. Because those struggle stories, boy. In marriage, a lot of people don't want to hear them. They
help though, man.
They help.
Well, I'm going to share this. A lot of people think, they look at you all as being successful.
My Lord.
And you know that that there are women that look at, oh, they're making money, they're doing this, they're doing this. But why would I even look that way when this one been by me all this time? Because they would hear
you in the comments. Say it one more time.
because when the Lord bless, everybody gonna want a piece of it.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
But this one here,
the ride or
die. All of it.
All of it. All of it.
Willingly. No,
willingly.
You can have it. All
yours. I used to work at an armored car company years ago, and I used to see these women coming out with their strollers because I used to pick up money at the water tower place. And I used to see the women coming out with their strollers and their nice cars, shopping during the daytime while they're me and I'm working. I said, I called my wife and I said, I called her on my route and I said, you gonna have this one day. I can just see where I'm going. And so I think that's why she took a chance with me, because I had a plan.
I was just about to say that, Elder. I think that's the biggest part in the marriage. The man should have a vision for at least what his family is going to be. If there's no vision, the people are gonna fall.
And the family.
They're gonna fall. So it's so, like you said, you went around proclaiming what's yours. You went around and speaking in my sister Jackie says, speak what you seek until you see what you said.
Right.
Shout out to Jackie if you watching the podcast. Shout out to Jackie. But it's true though. It's definitely true, and I love hearing that. But since you guys, when y'all got married and everything, and like you said, this is your ride or die. My next question is, what's your favorite thing about one another? What is your favorite thing about? Look at you. See how they both staring at each other's eyes.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, we already know it's that backside from Tony, bro.
That was a good one, Darrell.
Go ahead. I want to. I'm even asking my fellow church nerds. What's your favorite thing about one another? What's your favorite thing about your spouse?
So I'm gonna say that my wife never said, "This is what I want." She never said, I wanted a foreign car. She never said I wanted a big house. She never said I wanted income property. She never came to me and said, I want this stuff. And that made me just want to give it to her even more.
That's good. That's good. Sister Catchings?
Wow. There's a lot of things I love about Chanda Catchings.
Hey!
Know what she say my whole name, y'all.
That means something.
You're like, to make sure we know who we talking about here.
I'm talking about.
No
Right.
first names only. Say the whole thing.
The whole thing.
One thing is that I know he loves me. And I know you said one. But the other thing is, so I know he loves me, and that's so important to me. I asked Tony when we first got married, because I knew what attracted him to me. As far as men first are attracted to the physical, right?
Hey, be honest. Let's be honest here.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We know what.
And then afterwards, she opened her mouth, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I can talk."
Right.
Hey, that's important too.
I'm just saying. After all that, I want to know what's coming out. All right.
So I asked the question, because love love this was so important to me. If something happened to me, if I lost all my long hair, because we get older, if I lost my shape, if I, all of this, will you still love me the same? Because that was so important to me. But I could say now 30 years later, our love has grown even stronger, and I could feel his love. But the other part is that he's such a wonderful father to our children. But I really love that about him.
He really is. And me growing up with your kids, Elder Catchings, you are a fantastic dad. Fantastic dad.
Great dad. He got to teach him how to win in video games, but he's
This dude came to my house, man, destroyed my kids on the video game.
What game was that? What game was
That's just disrespectful and wrong.
That's so disrespectful.
That's very
I would have put him out. I would have put him out. Out the front door.
But to my fellow nerds, man, what's one thing y'all love about y'all wives?
Well, I guess since I'm the next oldest in 13 going on 14, I would say, and this is I know Shan's watching right now. I think she probably hears me as I'm talking because that's just that I don't know, but
She listening.
I would say this honestly. I love one of the most things. I have so many things. Is that she was able to really tell me the truth about how I was rolling. I mean, and all of us are super busy people. We all love the church. We all love the Lord. We go. And I'll never forget one day she came and told me, said, Norman, I need you to live a long life. I need you to stop what you're doing and be here with me.
Wow.
Because I was burning. I was burning kind of on both ends because I'm new in the game, trying to build foundation. But she said, all this ain't going to be worth nothing if you gone. I can have all this money and you gone, it ain't going to work.
Right.
I mean, to me, telling me the truth is one of the highest things I can ever take. And was just one of the reasons why I love my wife that much.
That's good.
Brandon?
To Stacy L. Travis out there, I love you.
Why you have a deep voice? You see how he said that?
To Stacy L. Travis.
You'll never find.
Hey, that's because Stacy got knives and stuff.
Hey, he came from his church.
Hit the panic button, Brandon. Hit the panic button.
Hey, that was one of the things.
Blink twice. Blink twice. Blink twice.
When we said I do, I said those got to go. But but no, so many things I love about my wife. I know you said one. I'll give you two. One, I love.
They trying to beat me, man.
Hey, my time now, Norman. I love that she is an incredible mother. The way she is raising my girls and now my son just touches my heart, not just spiritually, but naturally, teaching them how to be well-rounded young ladies. And I see the growth that's happening in them from her. And I thank God for that they have a godly woman. But a business-minded woman that knows how to work in different arenas and areas and help them grow and cultivate. But also what I really love about my wife, I heard the TV go off now, so she must be listening. What I love about my wife is that, man, she, like Elder Catchings said, she is a ride or die. If we have a problem, whether it be financially, whether it be among us, man, she's like, let's sit down. Let's not let this fester. Let's figure out what we gonna do. I know you the man, you the lead. I'm following you, but let's sit down and work it out. And I appreciate that, and I love her for that. And she'll, look at me and say, even though you're who you are on, when you're Elder Travis, because she makes a distinction. I want to talk to Elder Travis, or I want to talk to Brandon. But I love her for that. She is an incredible woman. So I know that I can do anything, accomplish anything, because I've got her by my side. So
yeah,
that's beautiful. Your wife call you Elder Travis. I don't get deacon nothing in my house.
No, she said when we get to talking, she said I don't want to talk to Elder.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm about to say, 'cause I walk up in the spot. There's garbage waiting on me. My name is Norman. This is what it is.
Yes, I have a common testimony.
Pastor B?
I have a common testimony indeed. My wife don't want to talk to no pastor. But no, I honestly feel like Brandon and Norm kind of summed up everything I would say. The only other thing I would say is that one thing I love a lot about my wife is that she is capable of kind of, how I say this, she is comfortable in her own skin. She's an independent woman who understands our relationship. And while I can be a very strong man at times and can be kind of dominated in the sense of just having ambition and passion and pushing, she's that balance for me. Like that doesn't intimidate her. That's the word I was trying to use. She's not a woman who is not uncomfortable saying, this is how I feel about it. And for me, that's important because I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody where I feel like I'm just, dominating the whole situation and, causing her to be uncomfortable. I want her to be comfortable being who she is. And so for me, I love the fact that she's a strong woman who is capable of being a woman indeed and not being afraid of societal norms, influence, or trying to make her, think that that's a bad thing, that she is capable of standing on her own. And that just makes me work even harder. Honestly, it just pushes me to, work even harder as our relationship grows. And then she's a mother extraordinaire. I think that's already been said, but like she mothers our children like second to none. Y'all got great wives and mothers too. My wife mothers our children second to none. And so I appreciate her for that. And I heard the TV go off too, so I might need some feet underneath the door.
That's that time. It's like, you see, the wife will come back later to my, like, what? You could have said this, and this, and you're like, come on.
Oh, you know it's coming. You know it's
right.
My organist brother Darrell, man, 6 months and counting.
Yes.
What do you love about our dear sister Amber?
So one of the things that really drew us together was like her heart for people. She loves people. She loves, just giving and helping out. And then another thing is a lot of our the things that our beliefs, all of the things that like our values are a lot similar, especially when it comes to family, when it comes to church, and when it comes to serving. And and giving of ourselves, she has that same heart. She loves to give. She loves to work. She loves her family. We're both close to our family. So all of that, just having a lot of those similar values, was just a very big thing among many others that really was like, what? Hey, yeah, she's the one. So I mean, a lot of the things you all have already said, but that was another big one as well.
Yeah, y'all pretty much.
So Jay, I got a question.
Yeah.
Just for all you all. Because a lot of single sisters want to know. How did you know she was the one?
Hey, we interviewing you here. No, I'm joking.
We're trying to flip this on us.
Right.
How did y'all know she was the one?
But I think you answered that, though. I think you answered that in some of your statements. My wife and I went through a rough phase when we were dating. I actually met my wife when I was being a hoodlum in college. And so
that's so hard to imagine, Brian. I'm sorry. I cannot imagine as a hoodlum.
Yeah, I was being a hoodlum when I met her. Because I was running from the church. I didn't want nothing to do with church. I turned 18. I'm out of here. Y'all can take y'all church and put it wherever you want to put it. I was done with it all when I met her. And then she got saved. And I was still like being a hoodlum. And she like, you knew about this church? And what you doing? Kind of thing. And then I got my life together and whatever. So when I came back, I was running so hard to kind of, like, I felt like I had to catch up with, like, that year. I felt like I had lost so much in that year of running from God. And when I got back home from school, like, I was literally felt like I was, like, trying to play catch up. So I was, at every service is all late. And we dating. So that didn't leave time for dating. And then I would go, like, days and we wouldn't communicate or I wouldn't call her or, we would just be kind of disconnected. And so we kind of had these ups and downs that just happened over a span of time. And so for me, it was that. Hopefully this don't sound bad, but for me it was that she stuck with me, right? So she understood my level of crazy, and so she was the one who was able to tame that side of me that would just get so frustrated with just everything, with church, with trying to be a preacher's kid, with trying to be at everything. She was able to tame that. For me, I'm just like, I mean, anybody who can deal with me in my raw form. Like sometimes I feel like I'm putting on a show sometimes. Like, I'm in certain environments and in certain spaces, and it's like I got this persona I got to put on for people. But when I'm with her, I'm just me, the all raw me, and she was able to take that. So I'm like, well, you got
Brian. So what you?
Ain't nobody else doing this.
Brian, so what you're saying is she has the anointing to deal with you.
Well, if you want to be deep, she anointed for a lot of things.
But I'm being serious though. Like, if God blesses us to have wives that know how to handle our types of personalities, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not every woman could be able to handle, Brian, like you said, your rawness, your type of rawness when you're around other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a blessing to have. That type of wife. But for me, she answered, and y'all know me, I grew up in church, I'm moving around, I'm always doing this and that. So the very first question I asked her, I said, so what do you do at church? That was the first thing, and she told me what she did. So I wanted somebody that I knew served and loved God first before anything else. She was on hospitality, she helped out with Christian education, she did this and that, so that was the biggest thing for me. I wanted someone to know that the servanthood, that I do moving around, I wanted somebody that is also in a similar capacity, so that was the very first thing. That's what did it for me. That's how I knew, to know that she was a servant for God. That's what did it for me. But anybody else, y'all can go ahead.
I don't have one nowhere near as deep as that. I knew. I'm sorry. We gonna be honest. I knew that Shan was the one. It's gonna sound crazy. I knew she was the one for me when I saw her in the church when I was walking down the stairs going out the building, and I saw her, and she was with her boyfriend at the time. But I saw her.
Norm took her from her boyfriend.
Right.
It's in the episode for that. You asked me how I knew. This is how I knew. I saw her. I said, "That's it right there. That's the one." Fast forward a little bit. We're gonna fast forward. We'll come back to the details later on.
So I didn't give that story. Now, if I was
the question was how. I'm answering the question. You wanted to be.
When I first met my wife, she was wandering around college campus, whatever, and I was being a hoodlum, but I was still teaching Bible classes at the Baptist Student Union. So I was a hoodlum Bible class teacher. And
don't be trying to make your story sound all fantastic now.
You went from being a hoodlum to a star.
Let me tell you what happened. So she came to it. I was directing the choir and I was teaching this Bible class. She came to the Bible class. And she actually, I was directing the choir too. So she showed up to service. She kept saying, "He keep looking at me." Kind of like Chanda was saying, "He keep looking at me." I'm like, "I'm not looking at you." She's like, "Every time you direct the choir, you looking at me." And so then we did this little thing on campus with the gospel tutor, and it was around my birthday. And she threw me a birthday party. I'm remembering this now. She threw me a birthday party. Nobody had ever done that for me. Like nobody had ever. Like I'm used to being a person doing the giving, and she did that. And it was that day, despite all the other stuff I said, it was that day where I'm like, I'm marrying this woman.
Okay, so that was great, but back to my story.
I knew that was coming.
They gonna try, man, don't be trying to clean it up that way. No, I was a hoodlum and I threw everything away because I didn't want to do it in church. Then all of a sudden, I was directing the choir and I was looking at her all the time.
But I was still being a hoodlum.
He was a hoodlum choir director that did Bible study. What kind of wackiness? Okay, but no, what?
Geraldine will confirm all of this story. That is accurate.
So no, but that was the first date, and what really sealed the deal was, again, on our second date, I never forget it, we went to the movies and we couldn't get in, and I was driving her back home and my car broke down. And the fact that she wanted to go on a third date with me sealed the deal. That even despite the fact that my car broke down, it's our second date and car broke down, she said, you know what, I'm going to still give you a shot. I said, that's it right there.
God, that's the one.
So you didn't steal her from the boyfriend. It was the car.
You know, we're not talking about that, Brian. Okay, you don't told two different versions of your story. Let's move on to somebody else.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, great. I think this was back in the MySpace days. I think.
Whoa, MySpace, you taking it back?
Wow.
You sure it wasn't Black Planet?
Just stop it.
Black Planet.
No, I think it was back in MySpace phase. I actually got introduced to her through a friend of mine, and we started talking. And I told the Lord, I want somebody good with kids, somebody got decent length of hair that's theirs. Praise God. And she got that, so it's what I wanted. And I didn't want no bald headed children, and they got my children ain't bald headed. So, and so we got talking and everything. We got talking, and I was praying. I was like, Lord, I'm young in the ministry, and I really need somebody that is going to be able to handle the challenges of ministry and the challenges of me. And somebody, that could, I'll leave it at that. So I was praying, I hear nothing from the Lord, and I actually heard the Lord say, that's your wife. So, and that was a Saturday, so I didn't waste no time. On Sunday, I know everybody doing these grand proposals. I didn't do that. Right at the end of Sunday school, got down on one knee, said, the Lord said, you my wife.
Whoa.
Married me.
I just knew your origin story was gonna be deep. I just knew it was gonna be.
You up there directing the choir with the seraphims and the cherubims and all that.
I just knew you was gonna be out here talking about some the Lord.
Yeah, I prayed, and that's it. The Lord told me that's my wife, and I can say that is my wife because we have been through some things, because some challenges has come, and she has rode with me and stuck with me. Even when it was my fault. So, and also,
wow.
I guess I'll put this out there too. At the time, I didn't have a car. So this really got me now. Didn't have a car. I was borrowing my grandmother's car to, go up to the city and see her, because I live out in the suburbs. She lived on the west side, right beneath the L over there. And so she was like, that ain't your car, is it? My brother was trying to be like, what you talking about? It's my car, I'm lying, it smelled like my grandmother, all that stuff. And she said, you need a car. I said, yeah, I need a car. Guess what my girlfriend at the time did? Took her father to a car lot and said, my boyfriend need a car. So she took her own money and bought my first car. And she said, even if we don't stay together, you gonna need a car going forward.
Wow.
I was like, check, where the check? Check.
Brandon, on the surface, your story would not have worked in 2023.
No. It's some women in the 2023 chat right now.
Here's some men might have been. Some men might have been intimidated by that and all that. She wasn't trying to be a man or take, that. She just saw a need. And that's one thing about my wife, too. She is a giver. Before I met her, she gives. And, she really gives. And that was just her heart. And I was like, man, I gotta keep this woman. So,
That's beautiful.
Then later down the year, of course, I bought her her car and all that stuff. But,
that's beautiful. Because I know nowadays, some guy said, the Lord told me to marry you.
Go back and tell him to tell me.
That's exactly what they say. But he ain't told me yet.
He told me. I heard that one loud and clear.
He ain't talking to you.
Loud and clear. I heard that one.
Darrell, you got something quick? Huh?
Yeah. So for me, it was two things. The first was when we were talking. I remember one time in particular. We were in. I don't remember what we were into it about, but we were into it, kind of arguing back and forth. It was one of those moments, like, why? Do I really want to do this type of thing? And I remember praying. I'm like, Lord, you're gonna have to send me a sign today if this is gonna be the one or not, because right now, it ain't looking too good. And we were actually supposed to be out that day, and it was some random person that was like, "Oh my God, y'all look like a cute couple together. Are y'all married now?" And all this other stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, all right, maybe." Well, so I'm like, okay. It was one. So first off, it was prayer. Like the Lord would always send signs whenever I'm like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. But the big thing is, even when we're at each other or kind of upset, she always has a way to make me laugh and smile, even when I don't want to. Like we could be in the middle of an argument and she'll do something that's like, I'm not trying to laugh right now, and I'll turn away because I'm like, if I look at it, I'm gonna laugh, and I'm like, she gonna know she got me, and I'm like, So that for me, it's like no matter, even when we're going through, to be able to kind of sort of bring me in. That was what did it for me.
Man, that literally, I was about to say that literally ties in. Brandon, I think you put this question in the chat earlier. With what he just said, Elders is catching. How did you learn to settle disagreements and not allow them to turn into arguments? Because sometimes a lot of disagreements will turn to big, huge arguments, and then you got one party not talking to the other for a few days, and then sometimes it just goes out of whack where people could just come back and just talk. So what's one way did you guys learn how to settle these disagreements?
Well, it's progressive. It's a progressive thing. I think it's each year things get better. Like for instance, we had a time where she thought she was gonna leave the room, and go to another room.
Not the smirk, Sister Catchings.
And I don't care how mad we are. You sleeping in the same room I am.
Amen.
So I went in the room where she was, had my blanket, my pillow, and she said, "What you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sleeping.
Guess we going to sleep in here.
Right. This is where we sleeping today." But and then that night we actually talked about the whole thing. So I think it's more of, sometimes people think they got to have a resolution, that day. But as long as you have that understanding of why you think how you think, why you did what you did, and all the questions are answered, you still may not agree with them because you're not going to agree all the time. It's a choice not to let your mind get bitter. And I believe the Bible when it says, don't let the sun go down. Once the sun goes down, I believe things happen. And when they happen, I think they're all negative. So not letting the sun go down and I'm not just saying that just because it's a scripture. I really believe the word of God is alive. When I say alive, it does what it says it's going to do. If you say don't do it, don't do it. But we don't always agree laying down, but I do get an understanding. I'm a talker, so I'm gonna get an understanding, about the situation. I'll be sitting in the bed. I'm like, what I'm gonna say. Because and then I'll say what I'm going to say. All the time it doesn't come out right, and I've had to learn how to talk to my wife. I came from out in the world, and I don't know. I wasn't teaching Bible class and stuff like that. I was doing other stuff. I was
Bible class by day.
I was out there, and the women talk different, to you, and I had to talk like that different to them. So when I met her, I had to talk different. So I think that's how we resolve issues. There's another thing that resolve issues, and we talked about it yesterday, Darrell, was at our marriage camp. There's 3 words you don't use in conflict. It's never, always, and you don't never start a sentence off with you, because it puts the people on defense. It puts the individuals on defense.
Well, that's a gem right there.
It is.
Never, always,
and
you
you
don't start a sentence with you.
Yep. And or if you want an example of you never do this. Now you're trying to prove that when I did it, and you missed the whole subject, and now that subject went up under the rug, and now they're still mad about that subject. And y'all say,
remember that time 3 weeks ago? I did do that. Remember?
Right. And so the other gem is to say, when you did this, it made me feel like this. If you do that, then pointing the finger or saying you never do this or you always do this, and holding something in your hand and saying, I have the floor. Now don't forget, you got to give it up, because they have to say something too. And then when they have it, it takes practice, because all the time you just want to get out everything, but it takes practice.
That's good.
That's
real
good.
good.
That's real good, Elder. And you literally said the same thing. My father teaches a lot of the young men that have gotten married, including myself. He says sometimes y'all get into an argument or something. He said, son, son, sometimes you just want to go down to the church, just lay on the altar, just pray like, Lord, help me. Sometimes it just comes to that. But one thing he always said, he said, remember, that is God's child that you're dealing with, and you need to learn how to talk to God, God's child, learn how to do it, and vice versa. Women, they understand that that's God's child also. Learn how to talk to one day. And I'm only a year and a half in, and I'm still learning how to talk to my. I'm learning how not to get angry and frustrated real quick. So like little stuff don't matter, because something little in terms of a big thing, and then now y'all not talking for there's no point. So is definitely.
Can I share this one thing?
Go ahead.
I've seen so many couples in church and out of church that one person treats the other person like dirt. And the Lord, just one particular, or matter of fact, it was a couple of them. The Lord said they won't get away. You can't treat God's people, whether you are a husband or a wife. You can't treat God's people wrong and expect God to still bless you.
Nope.
Right.
You're going to either expire or you can lose your mind messing with God's folks.
Sure you can.
Sure can.
And that's your spouse. I'm like, this girl been with the Lord since she was, in grammar school. If I mistreat her, I'm scared for me, not her.
Right. And a lot of brothers got to hear that, because they feel like a lot of men, they don't want to deal with the emotional side of women. We just sometimes we just brush it off. They don't want to hear the emotional side, but like you said, Elder, I don't want to get in trouble with God for mistreating what He has blessed me with. Why would you don't mistreat what God has blessed you with? You said earlier she would rather die. Why am I going to mistreat someone that has been with me when I had nothing?
Right.
Now all of a sudden I got somewhere and I got some. Now I'm gonna start being, disrespectful, rude, and all that. Now all of a sudden, I've completely forgotten what God has given me. And sometimes you just need those days where you just need to have a relaxation day, or just remind each other why we fell in love in the first place.
That's right.
Just have a random date night. You know, it don't have to be nothing crazy. I'll just, you know, just go out to like a carnival or something. Just remember why y'all fell in love in the first place. Right. You know, just little things here and there. You know, and I hope everybody's hearing me in the comments. Amen. But but it's just little things here and there that, you know, that go a long way. You know, a lot of times we need a reset. You know, we can go, you know, sometimes we get so busy in church stuff and other things, we forget that we got to take care of home first.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you know, but, you know, that's real good. But I do have one more question and then we're going to wrap it up. Now, with every favorite thing, there is a pet peeve.
Careful. Careful.
I gotta be deep.
I guess you won't make it to 2 years.
Right.
No, my pet peeve is
just 6 more months to go, Jay. 6 more.
Talk about pet peeves a little later.
Right.
No. No. That's not. No, that's not.
We're not gonna let you answer this question. We're not gonna let you answer this question.
No, that's not the question. No, but the real question is what's the biggest thing that you have learned since being married? The biggest thing that you've learned since being married.
Man, being married is a 24/7 job. Even I just learned that you can't. For me, I can never get too comfortable with my marriage to the point where I'm just like setting it on autopilot. There's always something more I could do. There's always I could be more loving, more understanding. You know, do something to make it be what God has intended it for me. So, you know, it is work, and I know people get married for many different reasons, and most of the time, if it's not for the right reasons, we see those marriages fail, what we hate to see. But it takes work. It takes two people coming together for the rest of our lives. But of course, you make it what you make it. You can make it fun. You can make it adventurous. You can make it whatever you want to make it. But don't forget that it takes work.
Yeah.
That's
the biggest thing I've learned is in an argument, don't use the words never, always. Don't start a sentence.
You got a new revelation tonight.
It took you 9 years to figure that
out. No, but seriously, though, I think the biggest thing I've learned is that you can't expect. Or you should not expect not to say the things that need to be said. Like you can't expect a person to understand what's in your head. Like communication is key. So if it's in your head and you just thinking, oh, they just should know, or you know, oh, they just, you know, you don't know me by now. That concept is tainting to a marriage. Just don't expect the person to know, because people change and they evolve. And just because we were one way last year doesn't mean that, you know, we have the same values and understandings this year. And so just constantly learning one another and the things that have changed about them over time is key.
That's good. Norm?
Those are some good answers, man. I'm trying to think. No, but seriously, I would say something that I have learned in my marriage, I'm going on 14 years, is that it's not like what you see on TV. It's being married, as to Brandon's point, is 24 hours a day. I'm married when I'm up. I'm married when I'm asleep. I'm dream married. You know, I mean, it's just what it is. You know? In my dreams, I'm married. No, but no. I mean, but it's also about finding the balance between really two different people. Because like me and Shan, we grew up similar but different. I grew up in the church. She grew up outside the church. So there are just some things that we don't see eye to eye on. But it's because we have two different backgrounds. But it's all about. But I've learned about finding a common ground. I mean, we have conversations all the time. Sometimes, you know, she thinks that the toothbrush should be on the left. I think toothbrush should be on the right, because I grew up it should be on the right. That's just how I love it. But am I going to trip about it? No, I'm not going to trip about it. Right. You know, so I mean, it's all about finding a balance.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. Thank you. I was getting there, but Brian sped me up, so I appreciate that. Pick your battles. Pick your battals, because not everything is worth a fight, and not everything's worth a discussion. Sometimes it just
leave it be. Just leave it be.
Sure.
Darrell, I know you did 6 months and counting. You learn anything, brother?
I mean, to me, it's just learning how the other person communicates. You know, you can say something one way and it means somehow a totally different thing.
My Lord.
Than the other to the other person.
That's real. That's real.
And whether that's from the way you all grew up or whatever the case may be, it just means that that statement can be processed completely different. So just learning those things to see, okay, well, I know if I say it this way, it's going to come out that way. So let me try to say it this way. So maybe it'll come across correctly, because you may not mean anything wrong, but because they process it differently, it comes off completely wrong. So just learning their communication style, I think, is important.
Right. For me, is learning the love languages, knowing what love language that she is. My wife's love language is words of affirmation. I'm not a word, that's not who I am, but I got to put that extra step because I love my wife and I know that is her love language. I need to step out of my comfort zone to make sure to know that she is loved. So that's the one thing that I learned in this year and a half and count is know those love languages and just always remember is to just love your wife.
Hey Jack, I have a question. What are the love languages?
The love language, words of affirmation, gift giving, acts of service, physical touch, and what's number 5? I forgot number 5. I can't do it.
I read that book 9 years ago.
I was asking not to try to take a dig, but honestly,
I got
some people just don't know.
Here.
You get it.
On chat. Don't do the chat GPT version.
There it is.
It's not ChatGPT.
AI strikes again.
Hey, I use it.
No, I got the actual book.
You got the actual book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, there we go.
We're having issues.
Oh, good. Mr. Flea strikes again.
That's that Chat GPT problem right there.
Hey, I was gonna say you might as well let our guests go ahead and say what they learned.
No, yeah, we're waiting on Elder Catchings, Sister Catchings. What's one thing y'all learned?
James Chapman send us our royalty check, but here's the 5 love languages. What was the 5th one? Which one did we say?
We're gonna wait on you, but we're gonna have to go to the Catchings though.
Go ahead.
For me, to love, especially going into this 30 years, to love intentionally, to allow love to be that filter in my thought process, to allow love to be that filter between my thoughts and my mouth. That is so important. I'm telling you, when you get to that 30-year mark, love looks different. And you realize every day is important. And like you all were saying, just to sum it up, don't sweat the small stuff. So that's what I've learned in marriage.
That's good.
For me, and this is where I keep growing, is I hear couples saying all the time there's things that they won't do for their spouse. There's nothing that outside of sin, I won't do for her. If she said, Tony, I want to go shopping, or I like going shopping, I'll learn to like it. I'll make it fun. It's just there's nothing I won't do. My whole body is hers. So whatever she needs, I'm there.
Especially that back. That's how you got it. Especially that back.
I knew that was coming.
He said, "Give him a good side. Give him a good side."
Good side. Go ahead, Brian. What was that other love language?
Well, I didn't close the book.
Oh my goodness.
You got one job to do.
I was listening to the Honorable Tony Catchings, who's going to teach me how to make shopping fun.
I know.
Hey, I need that lesson too.
I need that lesson.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, when he said that, I had to. Look, when he said that, I had to. He made.
Shopping. Oh.
He made me
Dude,
repent.
okay, I'm gonna give you a nugget, right?
Wait, now which shopping we talking about?
You talking about clothes?
Just clothes. Just
Oh,
regular
yeah,
clothes.
it's the other one for me. I'm,
Right. Now watch this. You go in where like say for instance she wants to go get a dress. You go upstairs to the department store and get the shoes that you like.
I like that.
Taking pictures. Girl, you fine. Go ahead and work that. You know, when she come out the dressing room. That's how you make it fun for me. Yeah.
Okay. Keep it
Right.
Yeah, I like write that down somewhere.
Now,
You can be like, hey, Shan, let's go shopping. Let's go.
Hold on.
now how do you make celery and hamburger meats?
Yeah.
What?
I hate going grocery shopping, man. I hate going grocery shopping. Pray for me.
You better. Oh my God, y'all been in church all y'all life. Yeah, this PG man. My
Oh, I get what you're
I'm a
saying.
little
Okay.
thuggish, you know.
Jesus.
Oh, no, we get a little X-rated sometimes.
Yeah, see, you're not here. Our other associate pastor, Gabriel, he has poles in his basement that we. So if you were here, you would.
Hey,
That's my guy.
hey, Norm, poles and blow-up dolls. So,
Well, you know what? On that note,
This has been real, church nerd. David's gonna be so upset. David's gonna strangle you.
Hey, man, he is. Oh my God, we're gonna have to wait till the next episode. Listen,
Dave, I didn't have nothing to do with this. Dave. Nothing.
And we really missing that. And Dre's really the one that be. Dre will take it over for real.
listen,
your mama catches she
where my Bible at? Let me find the word real quick. Get the word out real quick. We need to.
don't go to the Book of Solomon. That's
No. We need to read Ezra.
Lord, we missing maybe two, are we?
Third John.
We missing Dre and Gabe. Lord have mercy. Hey, listen, man, this has been another Church Nerds podcast. Once again, I am Jay Ball, Norman Heath, Darrell Walls, Brandon Travis, Pastor B, and our special guest, the Catchings. Having on, listen, it has been wonderful tonight. We are so glad that you guys took the time out of your busy schedule to just come up and chop it with us. Chop it with us, Church Nerds, man. Listen, if you are watching, go subscribe to our Facebook and our YouTube page. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google, and Spotify Podcasts. I think Brian, my bad. You were supposed to say that last love language, weren't you? Did you close the book again?
Oh, it's
Brian said it ain't his
words
word.
of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts,
That was
acts
it.
of
Quality
services,
time.
and physical touch.
Wonderful.
Gary Chapman, send us our check. 5 love languages. Really good book, actually. Seriously, really good book.
It is.
So, Brandon, that answers your question for grocery shopping in the store. Physical touch.
There you go.
Oh, we not about to get out of here.
In the grocery store.
Listen, we love y'all. We
Try
will
to
see
get me to
y'all
go to
later.
jail.
We'll see y'all later
That's
on
yours.
the
It
Church
belongs to you.
Nerds podcast. God bless you all.
What up, though? Thank you so much for watching the podcast tonight, guys. We love you. We thank you for the continued support. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook fan page. Thank you.